There we go. So the midfield maestro, all the way from Ireland via Leicester, Bury, Nuneaton, Brackley, and Boston. Kidderminster Harriers Club Captain joins us on the final word. Hello, Shane Byrne.
Wesley, how are you doing? How's things?
Mate, honestly, this is just excellent. We met, didn't we, at the first game of the season, Leamington. That was a bit of a dull affair, 0-0. You never apologised for not scoring, by the way, just going to let you know. So there you go. We only had 26 attempts at a goal, so that was what a day that was, man. Anyway, let's keep going. Explain to me, and Shane, the other one, how you ended up coming to Kidderminster, how we ended up getting you eventually. How did that happen?
Well, obviously the season finished. We got beaten in the playoff final, and I was waiting to hear back from Boston what the new deal was going to be, etc. And that took a long time, kept prolonging, and then eventually got to the stage where it was told that they were going to offer me a new deal, but I didn't think it was a good enough deal to keep me there with the losing me car skills. So in effect, I was driving on my own 3 times a week. So that happened. Basically, I don't think the gaffer wanted to keep me. That's just my view on it, on how things were left. I just thought I didn't probably fit into the style he wanted to play anymore, and that was that. So obviously put out the tweet that a lot of people had seen, and to be fair, the gaffer Russ was the first to text me, but previous years he tried to get me, to be fair. But yeah, he dropped me a text just saying, like, it makes sense, and sort of snowballed from there, really. We had a few conversations, and probably took about 2 to 3 weeks to actually agree on things. But once we did, he was sort of like the only one I was interested in going. And like I said, funny enough, when I knew I wasn't staying at Boston, even though I knew Kitty was full time and previously it couldn't work out, it was the only team I realistically at this level seeing myself at.
So when it came, I didn't write this question, but because you were part-time with Brackley, weren't you? So I'm sure you have another job. You said you were a builder, electrician, is that correct?
Yeah, that was my line of work.
That was your line of work. Now, to drop that to be a footballer full-time again, how's that treated you so far?
It's been good, yeah. I've been enjoying it. It's a big lifestyle change, to be honest. One that I've fallen into quite easily, actually. It's just, you get up every morning and you're going to spend time with lads who you get on with. I've got to say, we've got a great group, great bunch of lads in there. And yeah, as a 29-year-old, the last time I was full time, I was 22. So things look a bit different for me at this stage in my career, but it's something that I'm properly enjoying. I've really enjoyed sort of my first 2.5 months at the club.
I love that. As I said earlier, you started playing, they weren't your first club, but Bury as a young lad, a bit wet behind the ears, you could say. How was that experience for you? Because you played in the league, didn't you?
Yeah, so I went alone at 18. It was my first sort of deal in the men's football. My loan move came about on a Wednesday, trained with them on Thursday, Friday, and started against Sheffield at Bramall Lane on the Saturday. So it was very quickly just dropped in at the deep end. But I loved it there. It was, it wasn't about money or anything. Like, I would have been on a lot. I was on like my Leicester youth team wage, so I wasn't on like a lot of money. But it was just going from being sort of a boy to realizing a dream. I remember I stood in the tunnel at Bramall Lane just saying, like, this is what I moved over here for. You sort of like realizing what you came to this country to do, and it was an amazing feeling. Then obviously I went on and had a really good loan spell there. Obviously cut short by a little injury in December, but absolutely loved my time there. It was just like I just grew up so quickly and felt like I was respected as a first team player at such a young age. It was something that I loved, and like I say, playing in League One week in, week out at 18 I couldn't have asked for anything more.
So you moved to Nuneaton because you went back to Ireland, didn't you, for a couple of seasons, I think it was?
No, just 6 months. I only lasted 6 months back home. I went back into January, and then in Ireland they have a winter. Well, they have a summer season, so the season starts in March, ends in November, and then in June they have like a 2 weeks sort of summer break. So in that summer break, I came back to and I ended up at Corby. Corby, you missed out Corby there.
Did I? Yeah, but I didn't want to show off too much about your Irish connection.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You might end up going back there. So I just wanted to, play on the download a little.
Yeah, I moved back over and ended up at Corby, and that was my first real stint in non-league football.
Corby Town, 40 games, 5 goals.
50 games.
What?
Wikipedia's never too accurate. I've got my own notes here and me phone that is very accurate. Wikipedia is way off.
Okay.
Which I'll forgive him for. But 50 games. I think it might have even been 4 goals, but obviously ended up winning the league, which was a great first year in non-league football.
Yeah, I love that. So so you eventually ended up at Nuneaton. Let's go back there. We're not really big fans of them. Hereford's the worst, by the way. We'll talk about them in a second. And that's where the Conference North comes in. Then you went to Brackley, and then you went to Wembley. Explain that to me.
Oh, where to start with that? It was a long road. I think it took us 11 games in the FA Trophy to get to Wembley with a lot of replays in there. But unbelievable experience. Obviously made better by winning, of course.
Yeah, because you did a thing, didn't you, Shane? You did a thing.
Yeah, I'm happy to admit that I have missed a penalty at Wembley, and I was the only Brackley player to miss a penalty. Like, none of them can say that.
No, exactly, they can't. So there you go. Happy days. We'll take that. Right, here's your penalty. Let's
lovely
sound on. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't want to do this, but I am going to do this. So.
That's all right.
Not a stand-up kind of guy. You're not going to walk out. Well, please hope you don't.
No.
He's just.
We'll talk about some better Brackley memories in a minute because
I forgot Shane was there. To be fair,
maybe not results-wise, but personally-wise. So I'll get you back, Shane.
Here we go. Ready? To try and level things up. Now, do you always go that way, Shane?
I did always go that way. So I took penalties for like my younger team back in Ireland. So from like the age of probably 7 to 15, well, even to 18, I took penalties at Leicester. I always went that way. Always. Never changed.
Now, when you missed that penalty, did you want to throw up? What's it like at Wembley in front of 31,000 fans to miss a penalty? What's it like?
No, it was the first penalty, so I know there's 4 more penalties to go to get me out of it. So initially, I've hit the target. I've not ballooned it over. Keeper saved it. All right, fair enough. But as they score their second and their third and their fourth, and they've got a penalty to win it.
Yeah.
Horrendous. One of the worst feelings in my life. I'm sat there praying that Omar Bugil feels exactly how I'm feeling, that he misses and he feels terrible for it. And I'm praying and hoping that he does, and he does. And then I'm not out of the woods then because Glenn Walker has to score his penalty.
Yeah.
So a lot had to happen for me to go from being on the edge of despair to like pure elation.
But it did.
It did.
You said you played 11 games. Shane, Shane is Mr. Statos. If you need a stat about Harriers, Shane is your guy. That's the reason why he's here, really. And there's no camera, which is a bit upsetting, but there you go. Shane, how many games did we play to get to nearly within an inch of beating West Ham in the FA Cup 4th round?
So off the top of my head, we began at Sporting Culture in Q2, away where Q3 replay attack Bra to get through to Q4 when we played Bedfont. Yeah. And obviously Grimsby, Halifax, Reading, so 7, West Ham being 8.
There you go. So short change that for Shane. Shane wants to go all the way to 11. That's what he wants.
Man.
Oh, there you go. Right, I'm going to move on from Brackley, Shane. So if you've got a question on Brackley, please ask.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it just. Result wasn't obviously what you wanted, another penalty shootout, if I remember right, but I want to talk about a particular goal that you scored. I think you know the one we're on about.
Yeah.
Just before half-time, I think it was, Gaten had just scored, and you've just pinged it from halfway. What was going through your mind? Was you got, sod this, I'm just going to have a go because it's about to blow the whistle up? What?
Yeah, that was mainly it. So when obviously we had the ball back to tip off, I said to ref how long we got left, and he said basically like we're thereabouts. And you know, keepers tend to do a thing sometimes when the team score, they step up a little bit higher and they start like clapping their team, say well done. I sort of noticed that the keeper was there or thereabouts doing that, so a bit of frustration obviously as well. But I just thought 15, 20 seconds left. He is off his line. What's the worst that can happen?
Well,
and obviously the best thing happened. So yeah, obviously we didn't win it, but yeah, it was a nice personal thing to do. Will I do it again? Well, I did it in training, obviously, when I came to Harriers. But will I do it again in the game? I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever hit a ball that well again. But yeah, it was a nice thing personally to do.
I remember watching that game actually. It was that first end of COVID, weren't it? So it was on that random pay-per-view channel. You just sat there, you watch it as a neutral. Oh, what a time for Gator to score. I mean, you look away, and 2 minutes later, you're there streaked off. What the bloody hell's happened here then?
Yeah, to be fair, I was obviously I was working at that time, being part-time. So that was on a Sunday. And I went in to work on the Monday, and the bloke whose house we were working at, he said, I was watching it with my son. They scored. So I got up to make a cup of tea. I'm making a cup of tea, and all of a sudden my son's shouting, he scored from the halfway line. So yeah, like I said, people have just got up to turn away and think, right, that's it, half time. And obviously, 4 seconds after kick off, it's in the back of the net and it's 1-0.
That's got to be done. But where's I know you're keen to move on from Brackley. I'm going to throw one more thing.
Yeah.
So many years of Brackley, such a great team. Danny Lewis, Gaz Dean, Glenn Walker, Jimmy Armstrong, Lee Enlove. Brackley, they were always up there. Well, why couldn't they take that next step, do you think?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know why we never actually got there. I was a bit frustrated after the year we won the FA Trophy and got to the playoff final that we didn't recruit better. I thought we've had a fantastic year. Obviously, got to the playoff final, won the FA Trophy, came third behind Harrogate and Salford, who are 2 full-time teams at the time. I just thought, right, if we can add a couple more to the mix, we should win the league next year. And we didn't. And again, we felt, I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. Like, I've lost at every stage in those playoffs with Brackley. I just either a bad start at the start of the season, because we always finish strongly, but I think at the start of the season always killed us a little bit. And that's probably why a bit too much to make up. Like, we'd go 16, 17 games unbeaten, but you'd have 8 or 9 draws in there.
Yeah.
So we were always
right?
Yeah, a lot of 1-0s. Well, last year, I think they had 15 or 16 1-0s at home, and it's obviously a credit to the back four and Danny Lewis. Like, but yeah, I don't think we scored enough goals in my years there to go on and win a league.
Danny Lewis used to play for Kidderminster Harriers. Did you know this, Shane?
I did know this. Yeah, I am a bit of a Conference North stato myself. I do like Conference North knowledge.
Oh, the Shanes together, mate. Honestly, it's a match made in heaven, isn't it, Wilkinson? Jesus. Yeah, he's there somewhere. Right, okay. So now, Shane Byrne, are you ever going to shoot at Kidderminster Harriers? Are you ever going to have a shot at goal? Because I know your parents and your family tell you off for not shooting enough.
To be fair, I would say we played 4 games. I've had more shots in these 4 games than I have anywhere else.
Wow.
So yeah, I had 2 against Leamington, both blocked. I had 1 against Bradford Park Avenue on Saturday, that was blocked as well. And did I have another? That's probably it. But 3 shots in 4 games from me, let me tell you, not bad.
Let me tell you, I'm telling you right now, that's amazing. Did you score? No. So keep having a go, keep trying. Right.
Oh, well.
I've seen your celebrations, Mr. Byrne. Now, I would like to point out this celebration, which I thought was lovely. But I'd like to explain actually what goes through your mind when this happens. So this was, who are you playing for here? Is this
Boston?
Boston against Hereford?
It is indeed, yeah.
And Boston against Hereford, Shane Byrne just scored a goal. The goalkeeper's not very happy at all. You scored a goal, Shane. Remember that feeling. Just embrace that feeling, yeah? Embrace it. Here we go. Exactly. Look at it go. See you, boy. Come on now. Boom. Any reason that you beat up a corner flag at all?
No, I am partial to a decent celebration, I'd call it. So I don't like just to do the old run and do nothing. Like, I do like to mix it up. I've got an array of photos and videos of different celebrations on my phone. So it was one of them. I had nothing, so corner flag was there. We'd won the game. That was a goal in the 91st minute to make it 2-0. So we'd won the game. So I thought corner flag can have some.
There you go. Right, we're going to do a bit light-hearted now. I like these questions. They're my favourite ones. So we'll start with this. Russ says you playing the blinder setting up 3 goals, having 15 shots, not scoring. So it's a calorie-free meal for you. You can eat as many calories as you want. What are you choosing, Shane?
I think we did have this brief conversation
We did.
after the Leamington game, and I'm sure you slagged me off for it. But just the basic cheese and tomato pizza with some chips or some wedges. Maybe some.
Are you gonna have ice cream? You're gonna have Ben and Jerry's or something? Come on now.
Yeah. So I could go with some chocolate fudge brownie, Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'd have some mayo on the side of me pizza, not on the side of the ice cream, on the side of the pizza.
That'd be an interesting combination.
It would be very interesting. But yeah, no, like me Saturdays don't. What I eat on a Saturday after a game doesn't tend to change. So like it will just be a pizza normally.
So when we get promoted, I'm going to take you out for a Chinese with the boys. That's definitely happening, and you're going to enjoy it. Even though you'll be crying in the corner because you want pizza, you're going to enjoy that Chinese. It's going to happen.
See, the reason why we don't go down the Chinese route is because back home in Ireland, where I live, I've got the nicest Chinese in the world. Nobody will tell me any different. No other Chinese will beat it. My wife thinks the same. She won't eat a Chinese back over here because she knows how good it is in Ireland. So if we lived in Ireland, I'd have a Chinese every week. So if your Chinese can live up to the expectation of the Chinese back home, I'll come all day, every day.
I live 5 minutes away from the best Oriental in Wales. So, do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, well, there you go.
Your Chinese did not win Best Oriental in Wales, did it? I don't think so.
No, it did not.
Shane, tell about your hobbies, please.
Golf. I like golf.
Are you good?
I'm not bad. I don't play as often as I'd like, but when I do play regularly, yeah, I'm not bad. I was at the driving range today, actually, just trying to do something. Going to the gym, everything real sporty. I like a puzzle, so I like to play chess or a bit of Sudoku or something like that. But other than that, not a lot really.
What a guy. Do you remember your first pair of football boots, and do you still have them? I ask this question every single time, and only one person still has their boots, and that is your assistant manager, Jimmy O'Connor. Does
he? That doesn't surprise me with Jim, to be fair. He's very, he gives off major nostalgia vibes, definitely. So my first pair of boots, to be honest now, couldn't tell you, and I definitely don't have them. No idea. I'd have been 6-year-old. I got top goal scorer that year in them boots as well. For Shamrock Rovers.
Wilkinson, I think we've got to end this now, mate, to be honest. He's not one of our guys, you know what I mean? He's not on our vibe.
We'll get some stories out of him later. I think there's still time to salvage it. I've got a couple of things up the sleeve. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Like nowadays, I can tell you like what sort of boot I've wore back until I was like about 10 years ago. But like the early stages, it was something probably I didn't care. My dad bought me whatever new boots. So whatever new boots were out in 1999, 2000, they're the ones.
Oh, the golden age.
99, ridiculous. I was trying to get clubs at that point. Right, you generally like to spray balls around the pitch, like you're an Irish Gascoigne or Beckham. How many K do you run a game? Is it more than 1K? Because I don't think you run that much in the game, Shane. Surely not.
So obviously we get a stats after every game.
Yeah.
So out of 3 of the 4 games, I've been in the top 3.
What? You just do this? You just do ping these amazing balls? You just do that, man? When are you really running? When are you running?
So Coors and Ashton was 11.3 kilometers. Beaten only by Zach Brown, who was 11.5.
Not Caleb, because he's the fastest kid alive. He just runs and runs and runs, that boy.
Caleb against Corzin, I think he was joint. He might have been joint second with me, 11.3, or he ran 11.2. I think I beat him by 0.1. To be fair, the top 3 would normally be like a midfielder. Zach Brown covers a lot, to be fair to him. So he's been up there. Myself, Folksy and Caleb. But like against Bradford Park Avenue, you had the likes of Ethan up there. A lot of the front boys were up there because we spent a lot of time in their half.
Yeah, okay. Right, that's nostalgia done. Shane, it's your turn, mate.
Yeah, so not nostalgia as such, but when Shane Byrne was telling us they coming over and he's playing for Bury at 18, it reminded me of podcast episode I listened to with Keith Tracy, who also came over here at a very, very young age. I believe it was with Blackburn Rovers. Obviously, he's had well-documented issues since then. There's like, how hard is that to come over at 14, 15, 16, or even younger, get stuck into digs somewhere and essentially told, here you are, boy, now you're becoming a man. How difficult is that?
Well, I listened to that Keith Tracy podcast as well. It was a brilliant listen. It's crazy to think, obviously, sort of life he's had and what a talent he was and stuff, and it was a really good listen. But for me, so when I was choosing a club, I had a lot of clubs to choose from moving over, and I chose Leicester because of the digs and the family feel I got from the club. So at Leicester, rather than it being sort of one or two in digs, the whole youth team lived there. So unless you lived in Leicester, you lived in digs. So there was 18 of us in there. So I moved over early. I moved over at 15. Lads don't normally move over till 16. Because I wanted to get a head start. I'd done me sort of like GCSE equivalent back in Ireland. So I thought, well, I've done them. I might as well move over. And I absolutely loved it. Proper loved it. Never been homesick. My mum and dad don't like to hear that. But yeah, I just loved it. I knew it was what I wanted to do from the age I was 6. So I thought, I could have felt sorry for myself and missed my friends back home. But really, I was sort of like, I was taking steps forward in my life. And I always viewed it as that. So loved it. That's why I'm still here now. I like living here. And yeah, and don't get me wrong, I've come across and I played with lads who did feel homesick, but it was just something that never happened to me. And I think obviously we had two people look after us at digs called Tracy and Paul, and they were like a massive part of that. They made me feel right at home, go to them for anything. And then like I got married 3 years ago, and they both came to my wedding. So just had that real good family feel about that made it easy for me living over here.
I think that's the main thing there. Is the care, the aftercare. There's a lot of discussion about it these days with lads coming out to the academies, but stories like that and what you've just said, I think proves it almost needs to be before care as well, not just aftercare. Yeah,
definitely. Like I say, it helped having 16, 17, 18 lads around with you who were going through the same thing, because it's a tough industry to come into at a young age. So we would all feel the same things at a certain point. You could see when lads are going through something that you've been through, or you were going through that they were been through, so they could talk you through it. So yeah, it helped massively being around. And like, I never got bored. If I was bored, you'd go in and you could speak to a different lad, and then you could go to another room and speak to two other lads. So it was just like, it was constantly, you're busy and occupied. So that also helped.
That's brilliant. I think I've got 3 up this week. The big thing on this podcast is car schools from last season with Luke Simpson, Carrington, etc. You mentioned your Boston car school.
Yeah.
You missed those. Who was in that car school?
So we had from the off Scott Garner, who obviously retired now, and Andy Thanodge, who was at Boston for years, but he's gone to Colville now. But obviously Andy got suspended for 5 months for previous betting years and years ago, so we missed him for 5 months of it. So it was pretty much me and Garns.
Was that a surprise? It certainly was to me. Obviously, made the move to Alfreton and then retired. Was that a surprise to you, having known him so well? Or
well, I still speak to him. I was texting him today. I still speak to him quite regularly, and he had a lot of issues with his calf toward the back end of the season with Boston. And I think if we hadn't done so well in the playoffs, he might have retired then. But I think obviously how well we did, sort of the team togetherness and the bond we had, and sort of the good feelings we had at, pardon me saying it, Kiddie away, Farsley away, Filed away. So yeah, those things sort of keep you coming back to football. So for the first time in his career, he was going to be quite local. So he's from Coventry. He's played at Halifax. He's played at everywhere, as far away from his house as possible. He's played there. So with him going to Alfreton, obviously he got promoted with Billy Heath previously at Halifax. I thought finally he's staying a little bit closer to home, but I just think he'd had enough. I think it was just time, and it didn't surprise me, to be fair, because I'd spoke to him regularly, and I just thought he has a lot on with work, and that was sort of the direction he wanted to go in.
Shane, listen, mate, we've got 8 minutes left, and I've got this big question to ask Mr. Byrne. So a new feature for the Final Word this season is naming your top 10 players you've played with. You've got to be quick with this, so no nostalgia. You just got to smash it out. Smash out.
You know what? This is something that I do in my head regularly. Like I always think, like, if somebody asks me this question, who would it be? Do I have to be in the 11 or not?
Well, you don't have to if you don't want to, but you could be the manager. That's what Hemo did. He was a manager. So,
all right. See, my goalkeeper's a tough one because I played with a great one last year, Marcus Dewhurst. But it'll be Marcus or Danny, one or the other. Flip a coin. Not bothered. Could have either. I will play 4-3-3. I think I'm going to play 4-3-3. Nobody from Kiddie will get in it, obviously, because I've only played 4 games with them. So it's an easy one. It's an easy out this year.
Well, rather you than me, pal. Rather you than me.
So right back would be Femi Sariki, obviously, who played for us at Boston in the playoffs. Excellent on loan from Sheffield.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Centre backs would be Gaz Dean and Alex Goodger. Both played in Brackley. Obviously, Gaz still there. Goodger at Solihull. And left back, I would pick Connor Franklin, I think. Just retired. Great player. Really good player. 3 in midfield. Now, this is always a tough one because I've played with some really good partners over the years. We'll move on for that at the minute. I'll go straight up front. I'll put my mate Leon Love straight down the middle. Beast of a player, great guy. Even better man than he is a player. So he'd go in there. Left wing. I think I got Glenn Walker, another great player. And obviously gets a note for saving me in the penalty shootout by scoring his 5th and final penalty at Wembley. So he gets an automatic introduction into the side for that.
Yeah.
And then right midfield, what did I play there?
I love this question. This is so much fun.
I know. Right, we're going to leave right wing for it. I'm going to come back to midfield.
Oh my God.
Shepherd Murren-Bedsy sitting.
Love that.
You know what? I'm going to put me in there. Me and Shep.
He's suspended for Brackley when we're playing away.
Well, I'm really close with Shep, actually. He's a good mate, and I've been speaking to him. I don't know if they're going to appeal it or not, but I've seen it back. So he may be suspended, but at the minute he's suspended. So me and Shep in the 10. So many. Could be Callum Chettle, Elliot Whitehouse, Jimmy Armson. Let's go Jimmy Armson. Scored a lot of goals when I was there. Got on with him really well.
We tried to sign him a few times,
Yeah, I remember when he had Elton Engutala, Ryan Crosdale and stuff. I think Kitty put a bid in for Jimmy and Gudge as well. And then right wing. All the right wingers I played at have been rubbish. No, I'm only joking. I'm just trying to think who I played with.
You could put Hemo in if you wanted. He's my man, so
I've missed some good players out in my Corby days, so I will. You know what? I'll put Greg Mills in there from my Corby days. Yeah, he was very good he played left side at Corby, but I'll put him right side for now. He's a lucky. If you listen to this, he's a lucky one to get in there. just because I can't think of many others.
Absolutely fine. Shane, listen, that's your dream team, yeah? Your dream team.
I think in the time constraints, yes, but I think if you give me 6 to 9 weeks working on it, I think I could get you there.
Do you know what?
That sounds like a invitation, that does.
I honestly believe, Shane Byrne, having chatted to you on 2 occasions now, that you would do that. You would absolutely do that. You come home from training and be like, right, who's going in goal this time? Who's going to do it?
I do. I think about it regularly because I know, like, I would like to, when I retire, pick like a best 11 that I've played with and go through. But while you're playing, it's hard because obviously you still got friends that you play with. But when you're retired, you ain't going to care about them. But so like, I could play 6 different formations and there'd be different personnel in there. But like off the top of my head, that's the team that gets there at the minute.
There you go. Shane, what does it mean to you to be Kidderminster Harriers captain?
You know what? It was honestly a great honour and privilege. And I feel a great affiliation to the club already. I feel a bit more responsibility on my shoulders to try and do well for the club. And I take obviously on the captain's role with great pride. Like I was speaking to somebody there. Obviously, I've had work before, and I got to the stage where work became just as important as football. And defeats wouldn't. I'd learn to get over them quickly because I'd have work the next day, or I'd have work on Monday, so my mind would go elsewhere. But like, I'm finding the defeats hurt a lot more now, and that may be because I'm full time, it may be because I'm captain. But it took me 2-3 days to get over Curzon the other day, so the defeats ain't going to sit well with me this year, definitely. But yeah, no, it means a lot to be captain, and it's something I hope to do for the next few years, to be honest.
Well, listen, we've got just over 2.5 minutes left. We normally say to the players, we normally try and get free stuff out of them. We just do that. That's what we do. We can't have your first boots because you don't know what they were. So yeah, AMS is going to take us for a Costa on a Wednesday, which is great. Russ the gaffer has said we can go swimming with him on a Friday if we bring our trunks. That'd be lovely. So what's Shane Byrne going to do for us? You've got 30 seconds. Have a think.
Well, you've got to tell me what your interests and hobbies are, and we'll work out what you like to do.
Just watching you score goals, mate, is what absolutely it is. So yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, now I can join AMS on that coffee, and I can join the gaffer on that swim.
Wow.
I've got a couple of pairs of old boots that are ripped and tattered up if you want them.
Yeah, you could sign them. We'd give them away. That'd be amazing. That would be awesome.
Yeah, you can have. Yeah. Next, what game are you coming to next?
I don't know. I'm talking with the wife about Brackley away, but I don't know yet. It'll probably be October time, I think.
Well,
yeah, I'll have a couple of pairs of boots for you then.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you, Shane. Right, listen. This is what we do because it's called the final word for a reason. Shane, you've been absolutely amazing. I'm sure we could have chatted for more, but Matt Paddock's told me it's got 40 minutes, which is grand, which is fine. Thank you for joining us and keeping your word like you did at the Leamington game. Appreciate that. And leading us to the conference once more as well. That's going to be exciting. The final word is your chance to have exactly that. So the final word is all yours, Shane. You've got just over a minute to say what you want.
Yeah, I'm just obviously new to the club. Would like to thank obviously the fans, yourselves, everybody around the club for making me feel welcome. I feel at home straight away. I think we've got a lot to be excited about this year. Obviously, Curzon and Ashton was a little bit of a blip. I know people weren't happy about that. Us more than anybody else, but I'll just say there's a lot to come from this team. We've got a lot of ambition, a lot of legs, a lot of good work going on the training pitch. I'd say be patient, stick with us. Results are coming, even though we know we're not playing at our best. And like I say, yeah, there's a lot more to come. So listen, I'm as ambitious as anybody else. I want to lead this team into the conference this year, and you will get 110% out of every single one at that club to do that this year.
Shane Byrne, we trust you. Thank you so much, mate. That has made me feel so good. I appreciate that. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, other Shane, for arriving and being part of it. Shane, I'll put this up and I'll send you a link on Twitter, okay? And I'll see you soon. Thanks, Shane. Have a great night.
See you later.
See you well.
Bye-bye.
See you. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane. Thank you.
Bye-bye.